The Education Network presents Spotlight on Education with Debi Stewart.
Hello, I'm Debi Stewart. Thank you for joining us here on Spotlight on Education. We're very excited about our inaugural show, and we're looking forward to many opportunities to bring information to you about new things going on in the Palm Beach County School District. Whether we're talking about initiatives, programs, outstanding performance by students or staff, or our many partnerships with community organizations, municipalities, and our abundance of business partners. Today's show, not unlike the others, will also be very exciting. We're going to talk with Dr. Aurora Francois, a manager right here in the Palm Beach County School District, who has the opportunity to go around the community and work on an initiative, which is actually an awareness campaign called Strive for Five, Wake Up, Step Up. Strive for Five is actually a byproduct of the Wake Up, Step Up Proficiency Awareness Campaign, and she's going to explain a little bit more about how that works and how our students and community benefit. We also have the opportunity to visit virtually, if you will, two new schools out in the Glades community, particularly the Gladeview Performing Arts Academy, which really has the entire community all abuzz with excitement. We'll have a chance to see exactly what that school looks like, as well as a brief visit to Rosenwald Elementary in their new home. We'll get a chance to find out a little bit more about what's new for the 2015-2016 school year, because as always, new school year, we have a few new things to talk about. And most exciting, I would say, and it could just be a personal bias, is the opportunity that we have to introduce to you and to get to know a little bit better ourselves, our new superintendent, Dr. Robert Avosa, who was sworn in only several weeks ago, and he has already hit the ground running.
And during that first 6 months on the job in Fulton, I did exactly what I'm going to do here, which is spend a ton of time listening and learning first. I am not leading with a series of strategies and initiatives that I've seen work. That is the wrong way to do it.
And you can tell this superintendent means business. He's very much a people person. And although he's been very busy as he has gone around to multiple community meetings, and he continues to do so, the Education Network managed to snag him for just a few minutes to sit him down and have this brief interview. Let's listen.
But there's also a lot of energy in the community from organizations, chambers, Rotary clubs, and others who are all willing to raise their hand and say, I want to help. So that's a very positive. Some things that I'm concerned about are our facilities. We've got some major issues with facilities and deferred maintenance. It appears as though we've sort of been hobbling along, duct taping and super gluing things together to make the ends meet. But the reality is we're going to have to face this issue probably a little sooner than many of us had thought.
Your background, you are a career educator, so you're not a person, and we have some superintendents around the country who have actually been in other professions and then have transitioned. So tell us a little bit about your background, because you actually came out of the classroom. So when you talk, especially to teachers, you know whereof you speak.
Yes, and I worked with, my career as a teacher was always working with at-risk students.
Okay.
So whether it was a student who had a behavior disorder or learning disability or was disenfranchised for one reason or another, I was always attracted to trying to help them solve their issues. In many ways, I feel like if we can get those things right for those students, then we free up energy and resources to continue improvement for all students.
Will you share with us and our viewers today a little bit about where you've come from to get to where you are today?
So I often will share people my personal story, because that conviction, that dedication is really born of my family story. And that is, during World War II, my parents were both, their schooling was interrupted. And so both of them have a very short education, 3rd and 5th grade. So we're immigrants to the United States. We're from Italy. In the early 1970s, we moved here. And all I heard around the dinner table was that, education is the only way to improve, that family and the culture that we create in our family is critical to our success, and that we must give back to the very country that's given us so much. And so it was a very logical opportunity for me to go into teaching, because the teachers I had growing up believed in me. And I had some really good experiences, but I also had some very poor experiences. And so the commitment I made to myself was that I'd spend the rest of my life really providing the positive examples of how when things go well, people who are from another country or who are impoverished can really do anything that they choose to do if given the opportunity, work hard, and are diligent about their future.
I think it's clear his passion and commitment, and what you see now is a recent meeting with the Haitian community. This meeting was conducted entirely in Haitian Creole. We had the opportunity to see Dr. Avosa using the interpretation headsets so that he could understand what was being said. Coming up next, we're going to visit 2 new schools in the Glades area. Have you ever had the chance to go to a new school? Very exciting. Don't go too far. We'll be back right after this. We're very excited for the Glades communities because they now have 2 new schools for the first day of school, whether it's Rosenwald Elementary School or Gladeview Performing Arts Academy. The Education Network had an opportunity to participate in a community tour of these shiny new schools. Let's take a look.
The newly rebuilt and expanded Rosenwald Elementary School stands as a beacon of progress, pride, and perseverance in South Bay.
It's exciting. We've been looking forward to this for the past 3 years. Rosenwald Elementary has been housed on the same campus as Pioneer Park Elementary, and although they were very accommodating, we're just happy to be back at our home school.
And this home school boasts state-of-the-art technology on an environmentally efficient campus.
What you may not know is that
Principal Napier recently led community members, local leaders, and educators on a tour of this K-5 campus, which is the learning grounds for more than 250 students.
I think that the size is big, and what I like to look about it is the color.
You like the color?
Mm-hmm.
What are you most interested in learning at this school?
Math.
Thanks to the modernization of Rosenwald, Nalita and all of the students here will learn math and all of their subjects in an academically challenging environment, which offers all of the tools necessary for student success.
Well, it puts them on a level playing field. We want all of our students to be able to go out and compete with everyone, and having this facility starts them off because elementary, of course, is the foundation for everything else and for all learning. And
Rosenwald Elementary is one of 3 new schools that board members built in the Glades. Gove Elementary was completed in 2013, and Gladeview Elementary School was completed in time for this school year. School board member Marcia Andrews kept a close eye on the construction of all 3 schools.
I'd like to thank the Palm Beach County School Board for having the foresight to know that we had to build these schools for the children, for the community, for the parents, because education is meant for all, and it is the doorway for opportunity and success.
Janet Graham can't wait for the success stories. She attended the original Rosenwald during the 1960s.
This is just like God stepped out of heaven and just dropped this down on us, because this is something we've been looking for a long time.
And the possibilities here at Rosenwald are endless.
It's going to be great, and then it's going to be exciting.
The Gladeview Elementary Eagles are soaring to new heights with the creation of their newly modernized and expanded school in Belglade.
This is new beginnings for us. We are so ecstatic about the course offerings that we have here. We are now Gladeview Elementary Visual, Performing, and Communication Arts School.
Principal Edgecombe recently led community members, local leaders, and educators on a tour through this high-tech pre-K through 5 campus.
We're actually integrating arts in all of the content areas in our...
The entire campus is designed with the goal of integrating the arts into reading, math, science, and writing in the most academically stimulating setting possible.
And this will give our community something they can hang their hats on. We all know students learn differently. Some students learn visually, some auditory, but our kids are able to learn through the arts because we're going to integrate the arts through all content areas.
Students students are thrilled with the new campus.
You excited about going to school here?
Yes,
Why?
because it's amazing and I get to learn.
Gladeview Elementary is one of 3 new schools that district leaders had built in the Glades. Rosenwald Elementary in South Bay was also rebuilt and modernized in time for the 2015-16 school year. Gove Elementary was completed in 2013.
I'd like to thank the Palm Beach County School Board for having the foresight to know that we had to build these schools for the children, for the community, for the parents, because education is meant for all, and it is the doorway for opportunity and success.
And with the doorways at Gladeview now open, new stories of success will begin.
Wasn't that great? I absolutely love those bright colors in those schools. Absolutely fantastic. Coming up next, we're going to share some information with you about some new things in and around the Palm Beach County School District. So don't go too far away. We'll give you that insight right after this break. Well, we're back here on Spotlight on Education, and as promised, we want to update you on a few things that are slightly different, a little new in the school district for the new school year. In addition to our new leadership by Superintendent Dr. Robert Avosa, we also have a new Deputy Superintendent or Chief of Schools named Dr. David Christensen. We have Permanent Chief Academic Officer Keith Oswald and a new Assistant Superintendent of Professional Growth and Development, Mr. Eric Lundman. Now, we also have 16 schools that will have new principals for the school year. So if you go to your school that your child attended last year and there's a new face, it very well may be that that's one of the new schools getting new principals. We've hired over 1,225 non-instructional individuals, and we've hired almost 800 new instructional employees. We've got a multitude of new choice and career options programs, so you'll want to make sure that you check out that career and choice options program manual that you can find online on our school district website as you look around for some great opportunities for your child this coming year. And the school district has purchased over 100 replacement buses for school transportation. Also, free breakfast is provided to all students for the 3rd consecutive year, and the Palm Beach County School District School Food Service Department is expanding the after-school meals program after running a successful pilot program last school year. Now, lunch prices have gone up a little bit. They will be $2.05 for elementary schools and $2.30 for middle and high schools. There are some menu changes which include freshly made sandwich combos at the elementary schools, yogurt parfaits at middle schools, and Jamaican beef patties at high schools. That's it for new developments for the new school year here in the Palm Beach County School District. Well, we're back, and as promised before the break, we have Dr. Aurora Francois here with us on Spotlight on Education. We're delighted to have you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your various commitments, because I know you're all over the place, to come and give us some insight on the Wake Up, Step Up initiative, or campaign, as you say. It's a campaign, as well as the byproduct, which is Strive for 5, which at this point is pretty much located out of the city of Riviera Beach, if I'm correct. And to start, for the sake of clarity, if you could give us some insight into that overall global campaign of Wake Up, Step Up.
That's right. Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly pleased to be here. Wake Up, Step Up, as you said, has been an ongoing campaign, and it's aiming to create villages of caring adults to encourage our children to excel academically and behaviorally so they can be #1 leaders in our world.
So when we look at that, it sounds absolutely incredible in terms of motivating our young people to achieve more. But is that easier said than done? How exactly does this campaign work? And I know we don't have a whole lot of time for you to go into a whole lot of detail, but generally speaking, how would you describe to someone that says, okay, how do you do that?
First and foremost, the premise of Wake Up, Step Up for Proficiency beyond level 3 has to do with the fact that school can no longer do it alone. Okay. It takes homes and community. So it has to be a well-done marriage in terms of home, school, community working together. And we focus on 3 major E's. The first one is engagement, of course, to build relationship with specific villages. At this point, Riviera Beach is our #1 village in which we're trying, because we've been planting seeds. It's not fully developed, but we've been doing some good work. And I say we, truly the champs, we call them the champs of Riviera Beach. And the second E has to do with the educational piece, where we do a lot of training. We have a lot of community conversations in terms of among all the leaders, the parents, really homeschool community leaders. We've been having a lot of educational going on in terms officially and unofficially. And thirdly, the third E has to do with empowerment, which is mostly has to do with celebrating the kids as they excel, as they score Strive for 5, which is really an entree for the Strive for 5, and also the navigation process of our resources. Because we believe that no one size fits all. It takes a village, of course, to raise children, but who are in the villages? So we try very hard to realign the resources so we can better support our homes and support our educational leaders and support our community leaders.
So it sounds like, as opposed to situations which we encounter, quite frankly, at different times where people are saying, well, the school needs to do more of this, or the school district needs to do more of that. Mm-hmm. It sounds to me as if some of the empowerment piece also speaks to the notion that we all can play a role, mm-hmm. regardless of whether you are a part of the school district or whether you are a community agency or organization. And certainly if you are a family member or a parent, we all own a piece of the responsibility, and certainly the students themselves own a piece of it. Yes. Now, you touched on the Strive for 5, and you also talked about developing the proficiency beyond level 3. Can you give us a little bit more insight into these numbers? Why the 3, why the 5? What does that mean?
Well, 3 is stem from the FCAT levels that the state used to set for us. At this point, we're moving away from FCAT, and I'm sure there'll be some other numbers to come. But again, the 3, because the world is growing so fast, and it's much more demanding in terms of skill sets. And the 3. We used to believe as parents or educators that if you score 3 on the FCAT reading or math, it's good. But 3 is not good enough, because the top world leaders, they are 5. They are excellent in terms of critical skills and what have you, and all the skill sets. So the community alone stands on its own and now demand and raise the bar, if you will, that they want their children to score 5 on a standardized test.
Don't be satisfied with, well, I don't want to say mediocre, but good enough isn't necessarily good enough.
That's right.
You want to excel and you want to be great,
yes.
not just good enough.
Yes, indeed.
So in the city, first of all, how did you get to Riviera Beach in terms of, we've got so many municipalities here locally, 37 of them. Mm-hmm. How is it that either you came to Riviera Beach or Riviera Beach came to you? I'm not sure which happened. Mm-hmm. And how has it been received, this Strive for 5 initiative thus far?
Primarily, we prioritize the high-need communities, and we have about 10 of them. When you look at our student data, we are data-driven practitioners, as you know, and so we let the data drive us in terms of prioritizing. So when we look at the data, Riviera Beach was really the bottom of the bottoms, one of them. We have Glaze also, we have 10. The Glades, as you know, Lakewood High School, we have so many challenges. So we look at the challenges and also we look at the needs and the data, of course. And then we approach some of the key leaders, and one of them is Ms. Terry Ferguson, who's the director of the Bridges, who's been doing some wonderful work, phenomenal work in terms of homeschool communities at large. So once we started doing some Wake Up Step Up for proficiency training, and all of a sudden she became so passionate about this and said, we need to be the example. We need to set the precedence for the other 36 municipalities. And then she got to invite Councilman Davis to take part as well. And then he became very passionate to a point that we had a proclamation read and approved, of course, by the city of Riviera Beach to start doing this work.
This is all very exciting. We're out of time to talk about this. However, not to be concerned, because this is actually the first part of a special series that we will be showcasing here on Spotlight on Education, where we go into more detail about specific strategies that whatever configuration of family you may be a part of can take advantage of what is already starting to work in the city of Riviera Beach. So we thank you for your time. We look forward to having you back to go more into detail, as well as highlighting those families that have done an excellent job and have actually reached the 5. And of course, while you were talking, we had a chance to see some of the celebration that has gone on already, and I'm sure will continue to, because now the city of Riviera Beach continues to acknowledge and recognize these young people and their families on a regular basis. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us here on Spotlight on Education. We hope that you have enjoyed this inaugural viewing of the show, learned a little bit more about what's new in the school district for the 2015-2016 school year, had an opportunity to get a little bit more insight into that dynamic new leader that we have, Dr. Robert Avosa, and hopefully you've gotten as excited as we are about the new schools in the Glades. We hope that you will continue to join us each month as we shine our spotlight on education. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next time.